So Twitter is not a complicated beast. This is a uh, screenshot of a tweet that I favorited, and because I thought, oh my goodness, this would be a great tweet to share with you all. So it says, did you know there are between 200,000 and 300,000 teachers on Twitter? How is that for a virtual circle of friends? So I follow close to 700 people, and almost all of them are teachers, many of them social studies teachers, many of them secondary social studies teachers like I am. So it's really great. Notice a few things. She uses a hashtag. This looks like it was part of a conference or some PD that she attended. So people will often do that. They'll use a hashtag for a conference. We use it for a teachers convention as well. Notice it shares your name, but then underneath it, this is your handle. The @CLG311, they often say to try to keep those short, because if someone tries to reply to you, the handle shows up in the tweet, and there, as you can kind of see here, and there is a character limit, so you want to try to keep your handle a little bit shorter if you can. So, all right, here's another one. So again, notice Twitter handle begins with talks about that. My first digital DVQ. What is the present, or what is the past, and how is the past used in the present? And then he has a link to this document that he's sharing with people, and he's used a hashtag to represent those people. So if you're a social studies teacher or history teacher checking out that hashtag, this is going to come up whether you follow him or not, and you're going to get the opportunity to see that resource. A lot of people have favorited it because they say, oh, yeah, this is totally something I would use in my classroom. You can retweet it as well, which means you'd be tweeting it again, but to the people that you follow, in case you're not following the same people. And you can reply as well. And so he, I know, is kind of looking for feedback and also looking to share. So this other great history teacher from PLN talks about, I like the selection of documents, right? So loving the resources that you are getting. As we talked about before, there's a lot of studies that come out, but it's hard to sift through them all. And there's a lot of educational higher ups, there's education professors, there's historians, there's authors that you can connect with. Ken O'Connor is a great educational author about assessment. He's on Twitter. You can connect with him. They'll come to Twitter chat sometimes. So it's a great resource. So here's a link to a study that somebody found interesting, and so you can check that out. You can share it with other people, and even a conversation starts to happen, right? Like, oh, I think we should be careful. I don't know if the study is proving the right thing, right? So conversations happen as well around these things. Sharing resources. This is such a great use of Twitter. So standards-based grading and learning is something that my school wants to emphasize in the coming school year, but it's overwhelming to think about what this looks like, especially kind of in a social studies course. And so here's a teacher sharing what it looks like in his course, what his standards are. So sharing the document, and then SBL chat, that's standards-based learning chat, flip class, social studies chat, all these other hashtags to help get this resource out to people who might be looking for it. And again, people are favoriting, people are retweeting, people are responding. Yeah, this is really great. This is really helpful. Maybe asking questions, maybe sharing their own resources and standards. So that's a great way to use Twitter. Another awesome way, right? Notes from a local conference for growth/fixed mindset with book suggestions. And this is from an ed camp, which you'll hear more about in just a little bit and get to experience. But there's a lot of great conferences that happen all the time, and you can't be at all of them, but many of them have a hashtag, many of them share their resources. So learn from a conference without attending, right? This would be a great thing. I'd love to hear more about this. Or maybe you're at convention and you can't get to all of the sessions, but there would be a set of collaborative notes from a session that gets posted on Twitter that you can check out later. And resources are great, chats are great, but sometimes you can just get a really quick, easy idea, right? So maybe you've been thinking about talking more about digital citizenship and responsibility in your classroom, and just by happenstance, you come across this tweet, and it's something that's so easy, so great. You wouldn't have thought about it, perhaps. You wouldn't have come up with it, but it's shared and is obvious to this group, and they share it with you, and then you can use it. Other things, people often tweet links to their blogs. You might really like their blog and want to follow their blog and get further updates. I really recommend getting an RSS feed like Feedly, so that way, you can email subscribe to a blog, but if you get that email and you don't really want to read it right then, it just sits there and gets further and further down in your inbox. So Feedly helps you check when you want to check. And also, I've connected somewhat face-to-face with a lot of my PLN. First, you have to be a member of Google+, but then through Google+, you can have these hangouts. So we have online video chats with my PLN, with history, flipped educators that I've met on Twitter. They're pretty dorky, but it's really a great experience. It's a great connection to have. Feel free to connect with me. I'm sorry again that I can't be there. You can email me. You can find me on Twitter. I'd be happy to follow you and connect you. And there should be a handout of resources as well if you want to get started with any of those tools I mentioned. Those links are a great way to dig deeper and find out more about how to use these tools. Thanks so much.